So hi there everybody and welcome to the Voosestore YouTube channel. We're here at IBC 2019 at the Panasonic booth. We are here with a fellow Swede, Martin from Panasonic.
Yes.
And you have the Panasonic S1H in your hand, which is a camera that we have been looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah, right here. This is a camera that delivers a lot of different things from the GH5 and the GH5S and also the S1 camera. And not to forget from the VariCam and the EVA 1 camera as well.
Yeah.
So we pitched this as a real cinema camera, but of course it's also a stills camera that's very capable. It's 24 megapixel full frame sensor that can shoot up to 6K at 24 and 25p.
Yeah.
And we also have 4K 50, 60. We have Super 35 mode, so you can crop the sensor. We also here at IBC just announced that you will be able to upgrade the Atomos Ninja 5 recorder in the future, in sometime in 2020. So you can actually shoot 5.9K at 30p, up to 30p in RAW.
Externally.
Atomos RAW externally. Internally you can shoot up to 6K and 24p, and also 5.9 and 5.7, 5.4K in different frame rates. And what it means actually is that you can shoot the full frame sensor in full gate, 3x2, in 24 megapixels, and up to 24 and 25p.
Yeah.
So that's quite amazing.
Yeah. And it's going to have Vlog from the beginning, and it's the real Vlog, it's not the light version as in the GH5.
Yes, absolutely. It's the full Vlog, so it's going to be delivered with it. Also, unlimited recording time in all modes. There's no recording limit whatsoever.
Yeah. And where do you see this being in the line of cameras that you have? You can see here that you have a lot of broadcast cameras, you have the MFT line.
Right.
Where do you see this coming in?
I would say that this comes in as a B camera for the big boys, the VariCam 35 and the EVA 1, of course. But also I think this is a different product whatsoever, because it's also a stills camera that comes in very handy for like wedding photographers and portrait shooters who also want to do studio work. And I think this is where I think also our creativity comes into play, because you can shoot full frame at full aspect in 24 megapixels in 24, 25 frames per second. So you can basically have it like a studio camera that shoots frames on a model or whatever and just grab them.
Yeah.
And especially when you can get all this in RAW, an Atomos recorder. So I think it's a very modular system. It's a form factor that is unique in a way that you have all this in a stills form factor. With all the ergonomy, so it's actually very ergonomic and easy to carry around if you're traveling a lot and you're shooting wildlife, and I think also very harsh conditions where it's raining a lot and there's bad weather, really.
It is like it has the best of the DSLR style cameras, but it also packs a lot of film features as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And if you look at the film side of this, we have the same color science as the VariCam 35, and it's not limited like it was in the GH5. So this is actually capable of 14 plus stops of dynamic range. And we also have the same gamut as we have in the VariCam 35. And in reality, it means that if you're working with the VariCam 35 side by side, you can basically just edit them together with no calibration.
Very cool. So we talked a lot about the camera, but we haven't mentioned the lens, which is also really new.
Yeah, it's the 24-70 2.8 lens, LUMIX S Pro. And this is also a Leica certified lens that will have really good optical quality. It has a manual clutch here, so you can set focus manually. And it doesn't have a stabilizer built in, because we have a really good stabilizer in the body here. So
that's probably the best stabilization you have in any body, I'm guessing.
Yes, I would say this is even slightly better or as good as the GH5, which is top-notch. And I think a lot of the competition is that we have a stabilizer that really works for handheld shots all the way up. Like you can do follow cam shots with people.
So this is the video-centric S1 camera, but what would you say is the biggest difference between this and the S1? Because they do share a lot of...
Yeah, I would say that in the stills compartment, I think it's actually similar. Yeah. There's nothing that we took out from the S1 that isn't in here. Yeah. There is actually some features like the waveform scope they can now use in stills mode, which is the first camera to have that.
That's cool.
That's really good, and that's something that Deep Review and some people have talked about. Why can't we have that in stills mode? Because it's fantastic.
It's easier to monitor.
Yeah, but when it comes to video, it's a whole different scenario, because here we have all the codecs that takes up so many pages that we need to have filters to filter out different codecs and frame rates and stuff like that. So where the S1 gives you the 14 plus stops dynamic range and V-log and V-gamut, here you have all the codecs to back that up. Yeah. So I think it's important to have all that for professional use, really, in production.
Cool. So before we came here, we had some of our customers and people who follow our YouTube channel have some questions for you.
Right.
Yeah, and Martin doesn't know anything about these questions, so let's see if he has any answers. And I can right now tell you that you won't be having any answers for some of the questions. The most asked questions is actually about the Panasonic GH6. Do you have anything to tell us about that?
No, I don't have any info. Yeah. But of course, it's a system that we will still keep giving love, of course, because that's really important for us. So MFD is not in any way dead or coming after just because we have this system. Yeah. So that's the only thing I can say, that MFD is still alive, and we just created the best lens we have ever created for MFD.
Which we love.
Yeah, which is the 1025 lens, 1.7 Sumilux. Yeah. So yeah, of course we're hoping for the future.
Yeah, great to know. Another question that people are asking about is that in the S1 series camera you have the option to go to linear focusing. Right. And people are asking, is that something that you can put in GH5 or GH5S, or do we have to wait for the upcoming GH6?
I think that's a very good question, and I don't have an answer, but I'm hoping for it myself.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all hoping about it, but let's see what happens. You at least have the technology.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but it's very good to have it now because it's much easier to work with it. So I'm really hoping for it.
Thank you so much, Martin, and have a great show here.
Very good talking to you. Thank you very much.
Tack.